The indigenous people of the Himalayas have a chilling rule. You must descend the mountain before dark. If you ask them why, the elders will only give you one warning. Something comes down the mountain at night to feed. This rule has been strictly followed for hundreds of years. No one knows exactly what that thing is, but everyone knows one truth. Whoever broke this rule never came back. In 1951, British mountaineer Eric Shipton was exploring a glacier at an altitude of over 16,000 feet. He photographed a string of massive footprints in the snow. When that photo made the front page of the Times in London, it sent shockwaves across the globe. But what truly keeps scientists awake at night isn't just this photograph. It's the fact that 3 isolated ethnic groups in Bhutan, Nepal, and Tibet, who had no contact with each other, all described the exact same creature in their native languages. They described a beast that walks upright, is covered in thick hair, is highly aggressive, and emits a pungent, foul odor. Legend has it that this creature wanders the deepest, most unforgiving parts of the Himalayas. How could these descriptions be so perfectly synchronized? In 2019, the Indian Army photographed a string of giant footprints in the Himalayas, measuring up to 32 inches long. They immediately posted a tweet claiming they had found the footprints of the Yeti. That single tweet made scientists and explorers around the world boil with excitement. But it's not the footprints themselves that are terrifying. It's the realization that humans have been searching for the Abominable Snowman for over 2,300 years. So, what have we actually found? Let's go back to 326 BC. Alexander the Great led his army to conquer the region near the Himalayas. Along the way, he kept hearing locals describe a giant, ape-like creature that walked upright and could not be defeated by any man. Intrigued, he ordered his soldiers to find it, but they found nothing. This is the earliest recorded instance in human history of the hunt for the Yeti. Over the next 2 millennia, countless mountaineers, explorers, and scientists stepped into the world of ice and snow. But no one ever brought back definitive, undeniable proof of its existence. This raises a massive contradiction. When so many people spend centuries desperately searching for something and find nothing, you are left with 2 completely opposite conclusions. Either the Yeti doesn't exist, or it is terrifyingly good at hiding. In 2011, the BBC sent an investigative team to an ancient monastery in Nepal. The monks there guarded a mummified finger claimed to belong to a Yeti which had been stored there for 60 years. The monks said it was brought by an American explorer in 1959. Scientists extracted DNA and waited anxiously for the results. The answer was a bucket of ice water to believers. It was an ordinary human finger. Because it had been frozen in minus 58°F temperatures for half a century, the tissue had severely deformed. But the reversals didn't stop there. In another Nepalese monastery, monks had worshipped a Yeti claw for generations. DNA testing revealed it was simply the paw of an Asian black bear. Yet, it had been enshrined as a sacred relic for countless years, and no one had ever questioned it. Then came the summer of 2017. Evolutionary biologist Professor Charlotte Lindquist gathered suspected Yeti samples from museums and private collectors around the world. Bone, teeth, skin, hair, and feces. 9 samples in total. Using the most advanced whole genome sequencing technology available, her team analyzed them one by one. The results? 8 of the 9 samples belonged to bears, specifically the Asian black bear, the Tibetan brown bear, and the Himalayan brown bear. The 9th sample belonged to a dog. However, this study accidentally revealed a much bigger and more profound discovery. It proved that the brown bears of the Tibetan Plateau and the brown bears of the Western Himalayas were completely isolated from each other by expanding glaciers during the Ice Age, about 650,000 years ago. Since then, they have evolved entirely independently, forming a highly distinct genetic lineage. Think about that time frame. 650,000 years is more than 3 times the history of modern humans on Earth. These bears have been quietly evolving and surviving in the harsh Himalayas for over 500,000 years. And to this day, we still do not have an accurate count of their remaining population. If a known, massive animal can stay hidden so deeply in that ice and snow, what else could be out there? Can we really say with absolute certainty that nothing else exists? So, back to the footprints. Where did they come from? Zoologists have a very logical explanation. When a bear traverses deep snow, or when it spots danger in the distance, it will often stand up and walk completely upright on its hind legs. It can actually travel a considerable distance in this bizarre posture. More importantly, when a bear walks, its hind paw often steps exactly into the imprint left by its front paw. These two overlapping marks, after melting and deforming in the snow, look exactly like a ridiculously large, strangely human-like giant footprint. Imagine this scene. It's twilight in the Himalayas. The blizzard is blindingly white. Suddenly, a towering, puffy brown figure stands upright and slowly walks across your line of sight. If you were a lone mountain herder with absolutely no zoological training, what would you think you just saw? And those glowing red eyes described by terrified witnesses? That is simply the natural phenomenon of a Himalayan brown bear's eyes reflecting moonlight in the dark. Under the overwhelming pressure of a blizzard and extreme fear, the human brain automatically exaggerates this visual stimulus, tricking you into believing you are staring into the eyes of an evil, mythical beast. The monks who worshipped bear claws as sacred relics were not stupid. They simply encountered something they had never seen before. Without scientific tools, they used the only methods they had to explain the unknown. This is the most instinctive human reaction to the mysteries of nature, and it's brutally honest. Today, we have DNA sequencing, satellite telemetry, and precision instruments. But when we stand at the foot of that massive mountain, we are not that different from our ancestors hundreds of years ago. Perhaps the Yeti was never just a monster story. It is a reflection of the fear and sheer fascination humans feel every time we stand at the absolute edge of our understanding. It is the primal urge to take one more step into the dark. True science isn't about killing curiosity with a final answer. It's about using one answer to generate 10 better questions. It doesn't really matter if the Yeti exists or not. What matters is that when you stand before a vast, frozen wilderness, you still feel a trace of awe and curiosity. Humans in every era need a place they cannot easily reach. We need an unknown creature living in the shadows, just to remind ourselves that we haven't conquered the world yet. Is the Yeti real, or just a ghost from our prehistoric past? Let me know below. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Dr. Globe to uncover more forgotten monsters.